My name is Mia. I'm 29, and I live in a small town in Colorado. I was driving back from a work trip late one night, the kind of drive that starts to feel like an eternity. The highway I was on was isolated, with barely any cars around, and it was getting close to 1 a.m. The sky was dark, and the only sound was the hum of my car and the occasional rustling of wind outside. I was exhausted, but I just wanted to get home. At first, everything seemed normal. The road was empty, and I was the only one out there. But then, after a while, I noticed a semi-truck behind me. It wasn't unusual to see trucks on these roads, so I didn't think much of it at first. What made me uneasy was how closely it was following. At first, I thought it was just a coincidence, but when I switched lanes to pass a slower vehicle, the truck followed me. I slowed down, hoping it would pass, but it didn't. The truck stayed right behind me. I tried to brush it off as nothing. Maybe the driver was just going the same way, I thought. But as I sped up again to get some distance between us, the truck kept pace. No matter how fast I went, it stayed behind me, maintaining the same distance. I could feel my heartbeat start to race. Something wasn't right. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being followed. I started to panic. My palms got sweaty, and I couldn't stop looking at the rearview mirror, seeing those headlights getting closer and closer. The truck's size made it feel like it was looming over me, trapping me on this long stretch of highway with nowhere to go. I decided to pull off at the next rest stop. I thought maybe if I stopped, the truck would pass me, and I could finally get some peace of mind. I parked in a quiet corner of the rest stop, hoping the truck would just drive by. But to my horror, the truck pulled in right behind me. My heart dropped to my stomach. I looked around. There were only a few cars in the lot, and none of them seemed to be paying attention. The truck's headlights were blinding, and the engine sounded like it was idling right behind me. I didn't know what to do. My mind raced. I could hear my own breath getting quicker as I sat there frozen, staring at the rearview mirror. I thought about getting out, but what if the driver was waiting for me to make the first move? I felt trapped, and my gut told me this wasn't a coincidence anymore. Something was off. I couldn't explain it, but I felt like I was in danger. Without thinking, I put my car into drive and sped off, leaving the rest stop in a hurry. I glanced in the mirror as I drove away, but the truck was still following me. The headlights were relentless, and I could feel the tension in the air. I didn't stop until I was several miles away. When I finally lost the truck, my body was shaking with fear, but I couldn't relax. The image of those headlights stayed with me, and I kept expecting to see the truck show up again in my rearview mirror. Hours later, when I finally made it home, I was too shaken to sleep. I turned on the TV to try to calm my nerves. That's when I saw the news report. A woman had been murdered at a rest stop near where I had pulled off. The report said she had been killed after being lured there by a semi-truck. They mentioned that the truck driver had been known to follow women alone on isolated highways. My stomach dropped. I sat there in disbelief. The truck that had followed me, the one that I had thought was just a weird coincidence, had been the same truck that had lured that woman to her death. I realized then how lucky I was to have left that rest stop when I did. If I hadn't trusted my instincts and driven away, I could have been the next victim. The thought of it still haunts me. Every time I'm on the road at night, I can't shake the feeling that someone is watching me. I keep thinking about that truck, the way it followed me, and how close I came to being in that woman's place. Every time I pass a rest stop, I'm reminded of how easily it could have been me. It's been weeks since that night, but I still can't stop thinking about it. I still wonder what would have happened if I hadn't driven away, if I had stayed at that rest stop like I originally planned. It's a thought I can't shake.